Like chapter 1 to what? All the way to chapter 114. Okay. There's 114 chapter in the Quran. Okay. And if you look into that each chapter has verses. You know, chapter number 1 is how many verses? 7. Chapter number 2 has how many verses? 286. Okay. Now, one of the simple calculation you do, you take the chart and you say chapter 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 114. So you add all those numbers, you will get the number 6555. Okay. Like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 114 chapters. You add all together, you get the number 6,555. Now, same thing you do with the verses of the Quran. Okay? All the things you can do with the verses of the Quran. Like say 7, 286, that's in the Surah Baqarah, Surah Al Imran, 200, Surah Nisa, 176. So what do you do actually? You take 7, 286, 200, all the way to the last Surah Ikhlas, all the way. Add all those verses. So somebody will ask you, how many chapters in the Quran? 114. How many verses in the Quran? 6,236. The two numbers are very important. Now, how the Quran is constructed in that way? That's very important. There's a lot of verses in the Quran, Allah makes a challenge to the jinn and the human being. That's chapter 1788. So all the jinn and humankind get together, they cannot produce the Quran. But for Arabs, there are many challenges, but this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This challenge Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put to jinn and all mankind. Now everybody included. So how can we understand this miracle that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala challenge can be produced? So what we did actually in this, we analyzed the Quran. We say, okay, 114 chapters and these are verses. We don't know the Arabic, we don't know nothing. We know math only. Okay. So let's see, mathematically we check that is it possible to make a Quran in that fashion, you know? So let's analyze the Quran first. So what we did actually, we added all the chapters, then the 6,555, and all the verses, 7 plus 286, all those. So the number comes to 6,236. Now what we did actually after that, we make a third column. This is the third column. What we did, chapter 1, and then it has 7 verses, we add together, it becomes 8. Chapter 2, Surah Baqarah 286, 2 plus 286, 288. And Surah Al Imran, that's 100, 200 plus 3, chapter 3, 3, so 203. So what we did, we created a third column. Now in this column, when we add this number, we type 2 types of number we can have. So one is odd number, one is even number. Like a 203 is an even number. Odd number, and 8 is an even number, and 286 plus 2, 288 is an even number. So I gave a color. Okay, wherever the even number, we will give a green color. Okay, where is the odd number, we'll give a red color. So if we take all those green colors and all the red colors, we separate them in 2 columns. These are the 2 columns I made, and it comes out like a 57, 57. How are they possible? Because these are the random numbers like a 286 something, and whatever you add, it could be some other. It could be like a 60, like 114, 50, 50, 57, 57. It could be 58, 56. It could be 60, you know, and 52, something like that. You know, 54. So it could be like that, or it could be like a odd actually. Something like different sets of numbers. How come it's a 57, 57? That's one thing. Now, other thing you have to look into that. If you add all those green ones, if you add all the green ones and get this number, what do you number got? 6,236. What this number, total verses of the Quran? 6,236. Now, if you add the red color one, 6,555. This is the same number we have in chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this shows Allah already planned It's all wise. You can't plan in after that. Because the revelation come to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's not. In order to make the Quran like that, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam have to have 114 boxes. 114 boxes, and then like the Surah Baqarah revealed in like in 10 years. So many events, And every time the words come from Surah Baqarah, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has to go and open the box. Well, that's Surah Baqarah's box, and this is this box. Then he has to make a calculation. I mean, it's an odd number even. If you take that calculator, like I said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if a jinn and a human being can get together, they can produce. But there was no possibility of super duper computer at that time to create that sort of magic. You can't create. If you remove one verse, let's say if you remove 288, 286, Surah Baqarah, let's say you minus one word, 285. This whole thing gonna fall. It's not gonna become 50, 57. It will be stuck. And these verses total will not gonna match. There's no cross check. It's impossible to create a matrix for any human being or any jinn. No human being or jinn can create a matrix. That's impossible. So this is the living miracle in the Quran, the scientists research. And this is you can do yourself. Take the verses, take the chapter, add together, and add the third column, separate together, and see the total. That's impossible. And you cannot shuffle the number like that too. This is the order. So that's why when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the end, the angel Gabriel came and he recited to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the last year. He gave the total this order exactly the same order. That's why we all Muslims have over 10 million Muslims have memorized the Quran. Because why? Because it's a miracle from Allah. That's why the Quran is still preserved. So anyway, that was one of the things I like to share. So this is something very important.